What is up? Corey Lennox here for Piano with Corey. And today I want to just really air this out. This is something I've been feeling for a long time. And that is that, guys, it's almost 2020. We need to put rock out to pasture. We need to just let it go. It had a good run, but really in this sort of modern era, it's not relevant anymore. At least that's my opinion. So what we're going to do today is I looked up some rock songs that people claim are, really good. And we're going to go through and pick it apart a little bit. We're going to really dive into it. And I'm going to show you exactly why rock just isn't relevant coming up on 2019, 2020. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit subscribe for more awesome piano videos like this. So let's get into it here. The first song we're going to check out is Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas. So let's give it a listen.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you
Oh no, okay. So they already lost me. Okay, they already lost me there because they're starting with all this melody. I know when you hit a listener with all these different notes, pretty soon that leads to melody, and then that starts leading to emotion and all that kind of stuff. What's better is to hit the listener with either one pitch or just no pitch at all. Just talk at them. It requires the least amount of investment on our part as a listener to just hear someone rapping to us, because there's no notes, there's no melody, none of that nonsense. So already they kind of lost some points for me with this Kansas song here. This next one is by Led Zeppelin, and this is one of the most famous rock songs of all time. This is Stairway to Heaven. Let's check it out.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. When she gets
Okay,
there, she knows.
so I guess my first thought for this one is, what are these lyrics? I pulled them up. We just heard, there's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. What does that mean? I can't relate to that. I'm not sure what they're trying to say, so how am I going to connect with that? I don't know. I think the pop songs of today are more on the right track because they're about how cool the artist is, and when I hear that, it makes me feel cool too, sort of like vicariously. I'm like, oh man, yeah, they're cool, and so I'm cool for realizing how cool they are. Another thing I really like that I think rock could really take notes from are songs that have dances worked into the lyrics. A lot of the time I get confused. I'm like, why am I listening to this song instead of grinding up on somebody? So the songs with the dances worked in really help bridge that gap, and I think that's really solid. And the last thing I'll say about the rock lyrics is pretty much every rock song I've heard, even the more modern ones, the lyrics just sound sort of dated. I want to hear songs that have a more youthful approach, something a little more up to date. So here's an example of song lyrics that I think are pretty decent. Swag, swag, swag on you. Chillin' by the fire while we eatin' fondue. I don't know about me, but I know about you. So say hello to falsetto in 3, 2, swag. Okay, now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the rock catalog, and we're going to check out a guy named John Petrucci. And so this guy is known as a shredder. He's apparently really talented, so we're going to just check this out and see what we think. Honestly, I'm triggered right now, guys. I'm honestly triggered because I'm a millennial, so I was taught I'm a snowflake and that I'm special, but when I see someone play at that level, that is something I objectively can't do. And that makes me feel bad about myself, and I don't know how to reconcile that with my image that I've sort of been taught my entire life. So honestly, I don't enjoy that playing. I mean, maybe there's some musicality to it, maybe, he's reaching some level of playing that most people don't get to, and I guess there's something cool about that, but to me, it hurts my ego too much. It hurts my ego, and I'm not down with that. Alright, next up is a band called Rush. So obviously I know Rush, and I've heard most of this music. I'm just sort of refreshing myself as we go along. But Rush, their whole thing is that they're all these really talented, super crazy musicians. So we're going to watch a little clip, and I think we're going to have some nuts drumming in this one. So let's check it out. Okay, that was pretty cool. And their drummer, Neil Peart, he is like a legendary drummer in the rock world. But here's the thing, no matter how good of a drummer you are, a real drum set, you know, every time you hit the same drum, it's going to have a slightly different inflection, different levels of intensity, timbre, that kind of thing. So when you're playing a live drum set, you get this really inconsistent sound. I mean, some people would say it's like putting life into the playing and that this guy has like a complete and utter mastery of the instrument on just a beautiful level. But to me, it's just kind of, no, it's too much. You can't dance to that. So what I want are like those synth drums. You know, they're right on the beat, they're just typed in. That's what I want. I want the classic 808 drums that have been in like every top 40 song for the past 2 decades. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, all the songs so far have been classic rock. You know, what about the new stuff? So I pulled up a song that just came out. This is Pressure by Muse. Let's hear it. Okay, look, so some people might listen to this and they hear the dancey synths in the background and some of the more modern elements, and they might take this as evidence that rock is evolving and changing and still relevant, and maybe even that rock will never die because at its core is this authenticity and this passion that just physically can't go out of style because it's so innate to us as human beings. But I look at that and I say, rock, just give up. If you have to change to try and be relevant, if you have to change yourself, like, what are you even doing? Just, you're done. So look, to wrap this whole thing up, I think at the end of the day, we can all agree it's time to let rock go. We as a society can decide that we're done. You know, we don't need all the emotions and passion, the real instruments, the musicianship. It's not in. It's not in anymore. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go listen to some real music. Skunk, 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 do the skunk, 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 skunk. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below, and leave it a like. Until next time, this is Corey Lennox for Piano with Corey. Piano on.